What is going on, good people? So it is time to do what we said we were gonna do. It's time to scalp this iron cutter back, sand level it, get it as level as we can, smooth it out so we can reduce the height of cut and we can get our reel mower back on it. The rotary mower has been doing a great job up until this point, but as the Bermuda gets more dense and thicker, it's seeming to float and kind of bounce across it and not giving us the best quality of cut. And we got the Hudson, which we know is gonna give us a top-notch cut. So we're gonna get this scalp back, sand leveled, so we can get our reel mower on it, and it's gonna be looking pristine here in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned in this video. I'm gonna show you that whole process, and we'll come back a little bit later and show you the end results after it's grown back in. My guess is it's gonna be about 2 weeks until this fully recovers. What do you think? Let me know in the comments how long you think this recovery is gonna take, and we'll bring it back to you. All right, let's get into it. First step up, let's get it scalp back. All right, let's get into some of the details and give a quick overview of how all of this went down. And remember, this is IronCutter Bermuda from MVP Genetics. This is not a cool season lawn. This is IronCutter Bermuda, which is why we're doing it during the summertime, where it is growing the most vigorous and it has the most growing degree days, where it's gonna recover the quickest. This is not a cool season lawn. All right, let's get into it. So when it comes to the sand that I use, I just use some regular old Mason sand, just picked it up from my local landscape supply store. Nothing special at all here. And let's talk about the equipment that we need to do sand leveling. So there's a couple of things. This is gonna be very simple, or it can get very involved. And the amount of labor and also the equipment that you're going to need is really going to depend on the size that you're dealing with. If you have a large yard or you've got a large area that you are working on, you're going to want to go rent some equipment, and you're going to want to have something that's going to be able to help you put this sand down in the most efficient manner as possible. Of course, you can always revert to a wheelbarrow and a shovel, or a gorilla cart and a shovel. But me, y'all know me, I will spend the money to go get the right tool for the job if it's gonna make it easier on my back. Earth and Turf, they have top dressers that'll actually be able to put the sand down. They have pull behinds, they have ride-ons. They've got a lot of different options. So check out Earth and Turf. They've got some of the top equipment when it comes to top dressing and leveling. Equipment is top notch. So you've seen, I'll leave a video linked here where we actually used a pull behind piece of equipment on my pop's lawn. But for here, we're using their push drop spreader. So that was one of the piece of equipment that I had that I was ready to get to put to use. And it works well, it works amazing with dry sand. When the sand gets a little moist, or if it got some moisture in it, it still spreads it evenly. It just doesn't come out where you can apply those very small amounts. You're gonna put down a larger amount of sand when you've got more moisture in it using this piece of equipment. This piece of equipment did exactly what I needed it to do. And shout out to Earth and Turf for that one. And it does get heavy if you've got it filled all the way up and you've got heels and stuff. On this low cut, it pushed easy, it pushed smooth. In taller grass, probably not the right piece of equipment to be able to use for this type of scenario. The other thing is you're gonna need a shovel, or you can use a wheelbarrow. You can use also your dethatcher or scarifier or a aerator if you plan to do those processes in it. One of the things that is very key in leveling is what tool are you going to use to level the lawn. You're gonna need to have either a drag or a leveling rake. The longer the leveling rake or drag is that you have, the more level over a larger area you'll be able to smooth out and get those undulations and uneven areas out. So I have an 8-foot drag, and I also have a 36-inch leveling rake. So those are the two pieces of leveling tools that I have. But those two pieces of equipment, or one of them, is very critical in actually being able to get the level surface that you're looking for. The first thing we got to do is we got to scalp it down. We got to bring that height cut down. Typically you want to have it anywhere from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch below where you plan to actually maintain your height of cut. So my goal height of cut was right around 3/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch if we can get there. We might have to work it down to get there throughout the season. With the goal of being at 3/4 of an inch, I was able to use my rotary mower with the bagger on it, dropped it down as low as it can get. Quick tip, the mower goes lower than the last notch. So whatever the last notch is on your mower, go ahead and push past that. So that's exactly what I did. I've done it numerous times before when I've had to scalp. I just push the knob right past where the last notch was, and it brings the mower down just a little bit more. So I was able to get it down to around a 1/2 inch in most areas, a little bit lower than a 1/2 inch in some of the areas that were high. So got that all scalped down, got it cleaned up, and then from there we were on to the next step. The next thing is we need to prep the ground for the sand. Once we've got everything scalped down, we want to get out here and get as many of the clippings and all of that stuff. We want to get it up out of there, so when we go to put the sand down, there's not a layer of that organic material between the soil surface and the sand that you're going to be putting down. So get the surface cleaned up. This is where you can add in some additional operations if you so choose. You can do aeration at this point if you need to get some holes in there to get some sand in there to help with drainage. You can also do verticut, so you can come in, clean out some of the debris and things that are in there, and start to cut some of those stolons so the Bermuda grows in a little thicker when it comes back in and it knits together better. You can also use a scarifier or a dethatcher, which I went with the scarifying method. It was a tool that I already had in the garage, so I just pulled out my Sunjo with the scarifier attachment on it, scarified it, got the soil prepped and clean. It also helped cut some of those stolons. So that was one of the processes after I got it scalped down. And then after scarifying, came back, cleaned all of that debris and everything up. So now I have a clean surface that is ready to apply the sand. All right, now it's time to get the sand applied and get this thing leveled out. So the goal here is getting enough sand down on it so you can be able to move the sand around to be able to get it into those low areas, smooth out those humps and bumps and different undulations and things that you've got to get that level surface that you're looking for. If you only put just a little bit of sand there, it's hard to move it around to get it to fall into those areas. So I already knew that this area was kind of bowl shaped, which means it was kind of high on the edges and it was low throughout the middle. So you'll see me applying a good amount of sand through the middle of this test plot. So that's where majority of the sand went, and that's also where the majority of the bumps and unevenness was. So once I got that sand and everything down, that's when my leveling tools came into play. I got that sand down, pulled my leveling tools across it. You can see as it starts to level out, you're gonna find those high and low spots. So look at your piece of equipment that you're using, whatever tool it is, and it'll show you where the areas are high and where the areas are low to make sure you're working that sand into those areas so you end up with a surface that is nice and level that improves your mowing and enjoyment of being able to mow. All right, so after I got all the sand applied, I can definitely say I was happy with the results. I was happy with how level things were, especially now that I've had a chance to mow across it and kind of getting the feel of it now after doing the leveling, it is a night and day difference, and I can't wait till it feels all the way in. But now that we've got the sand applied, now it's time to water. This is a big question that I had. I wasn't even familiar with how often I needed to water. Should I treat it like it's a grow in? Should I just water it normally and it's gonna grow back? So what I decided on was, for the first week, being that I had put the lawn under some extra stress, I wanted to make sure it had enough moisture and that it was hydrated, and I also wanted to get that sand to settle into place. And water is a good tool and mechanism to be able to get that sand to settle in. So the first week I watered per day a total of 0.2 inches, and I watered 3 times a day. Watered in the morning, about midday, and late afternoon, mid-afternoon time frame, because as it started to grow through, I didn't want the grass blades and stuff to be soaking wet going into the evening. So I wanted them to dry out for the most part. So that's what I did for the watering on the first week. And then as we got into the second week, we actually started to get a little bit of rain, but I just went back to my normal watering schedule once that first week was over. But mainly for that first week, I wanted the sand to settle, I wanted the plant to stay hydrated, and it was also hot during that first week. That was my watering strategy. You can kind of keep an eye on yours and gauge it and make adjustments as needed. With my goal height of cut being 3/4 of an inch, as soon as good areas or sections of the test plot got to that 1 inch mark, I was on it and I was mowing it. That is one of the things that I believe in. It doesn't matter the grass type. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a renovation or overseed, or if I'm growing from seed or sprigs. I believe in getting on it as soon as you can to start training it to the height of cut that you want it to be. So as soon as it reached the 1 inch mark, or good areas of it, there were still some areas that hadn't grown through, hadn't reached that mark yet. So this was probably about a weekend. Bermuda grass is one of those plants that if you let it get tall, it gets leggy. And what I mean by that is the stem starts to grow up and the stem has no color. The stem is brown. So if you look at it, just like when we scalped it down, everything was brown. There was no green, there was no color. It was just brown because it was just stems that was thickened up. So the stems have 0 color in them. So you want to start training that height of cut as soon as you can. And then that also, so once it starts training it, it makes the plant start to thicken up and it starts to tiller out, and it's not trying to grow upright as much. It starts to spread out and fill in and cover up all of that sand. So mowing frequency right now, I am mowing every other day, and it is quite enjoyable. This is a small area, but it's enjoyable. And my son actually looks forward to being able to get to mow the IronCutter Bermudagrass. So we get to spend some time out there doing it. He enjoys it, and I get to mow every other day. So don't let your Bermuda grass get 2 and 3 inches high and then try to cut it down after doing this process. This is not a cool season lawn. It's not gonna fare well if you let your Bermuda grass get much higher than your desired height of cut. So the last topic is fertilization. It was about 3 weeks ago since we did our sand leveling, and we applied 3/4 of a pound of into it about 3 weeks prior to doing the sand leveling, because things got delayed in when we actually did the leveling. But 3 weeks prior to the leveling, it got about 3/4 of a pound. At this point, it's had about a pound on it over these past 3 weeks. And that last 3/4 of a pound went down around week 2 of this. And then I also applied about 0.2 of liquid fert earlier on. As I was starting to get those areas that were growing through, I wanted to give it a little bit of fert. So it's had about a pound, and at this point, it may get one more solid feeding of about 3/4 of a pound this season. Probably go into early August and get that down, and that'll probably be the last heavy feeding that it'll get. And then in September, I'll just do some spoon feeding to it, but we should be nice and filled in by the time we get into September as it starts to get ready to go into dormancy. I did apply that 3/4 pound, was from Phoenix. If you're looking and you're interested in Phoenix, the link will be down in the description. You can pick you up a bag of that for your renovation, or as you get ready to get into the fall for your cool season lawns. So this was the process that I did on my IronCutter Bermuda from MVP Genetics, and I hope this helped you out. If you got any questions or any comments, just go ahead and drop them down in the comment section below, and hey, we can talk about it. This is one of the processes that I've done a couple of other times. I've done it on a larger scale at my Pops lawn, where we leveled about 10 to 15,000 square feet. You can go back and check that video out. I'll leave it linked here at the end. And I also leveled, or it was more of a sand top dress here on the cool season lawn that you see behind me. So I've applied sand to just about every personal lawn portion that I've actually managed. So hope this was helpful for you. And as we always say, just know we work.